Hi everyone, today I'm going to walk you through my very first bullet journal and give you some tips to start one of your own. It is not as complicated as it looks and it can definitely be fun to create. I did plan and sketch out my layout beforehand to save us some time. So now I'll walk you through the inking process and give you some beginner to beginner tips and show you the final flip through. First off, I'm so excited to use this DIY bullet journal I made. The dot grid was super helpful when I need to write in a straight line and the drawing paper didn't bleed through. If you like the journal and want to make one, check out the description below for the link to my tutorial. Okay, let's get started. I came up with the woodland, floral, fantasy, magical theme for this month because September is definitely a month of change. Summer ends and fall begins in this month, plus school's classes start, which means the beginning of a new chapter. So I decided to draw a cute fox as my cover or title page with flowers around it, and then drew the word September on the bottom. No color because I wanted to keep it very clean and bold. So I have two tips for this page. Tip number 1, pick a theme for your journal and start it on the cover page. This sets the mood for the rest of your spreads. You just have to be creative here and just make it work. There's no right or wrong way to create a journal. Tip number 2, do not be afraid to try. I am horrible with calligraphy. If you ask me to write anything in that cute fancy font, I cannot do it. I'd rather draw you a cute picture of a flower. So for this journal, I ended up looking up fonts online and then just copied them freehand. I wasn't really writing, I was drawing the words out. So use existing fonts as reference and then make it your own. And then use various line weights to kind of fake it and you'll be fine. Since I wanted my journal to be more like a storybook rather than a simple planner, I determined the mood of the month on the second illustrated page. I left the actual second page blank to give it a cleaner look. This is the month of change, and below that is one of my favorite quotes. Strength doesn't come from what you can do, it comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. So every time I open this journal, I am reminded to be fearless. I have huge goals, you guys, and I really hope I can pull it all off this month. Next section is my table of contents. I added some florals underneath to keep the theme going and all the spreads connected. Again, I just typed out the word contents on the computer and copied the font freehand. For the actual table of contents on the right, I had to finish setting up to know which page numbers coordinate to which section. So I'm inking this now for you to see, and the setup is pretty straightforward. I made my numbers larger and wrote in my normal handwriting what you'll find in that section. Tip number 3, it is definitely okay to have negative space in your layout. There are plenty of bullet journals that have amazing spreads with every nook and cranny filled in with some sort of imagery or box, but you have to remember, this is your bullet journal, not anyone else's. So make it exactly the way you want to. Next section is my 3-month calendar. I titled this At a Glance and then added a motivational quote to keep me going. It says, "Stay positive, work hard, and make it happen." I then added my flowers and a cute little birdie on the left, and then florally mushrooms on the right to tie it back to the theme. I need this journal more to keep me on track with my timeline, so it's important for me to see what the days are like for the next 3 months. I made the current month larger and then added the next 2 months smaller underneath. Tip number 4, use a see-through ruler. It really helps when you can see the pages and sketches when you ink or color your layout. Moving on, I have my monthly. I know I was thinking about why I would need this if I just drew the entire month of September, but I realized that I would like to put in events and goals in a calendar, so I designed this spread for that. This way I know what's happening and when it's happening. Add a little section for my goals on the right, which was kind of an accident because I wanted my squares exactly 1 inch each, and that gave me this extra space on the right hand side. But that was a happy accident, which leads us to tip number 5. Go with the flow. As you're drawing out your spreads, know that you can change. You don't have to stick to a specific layout or be exact in your measurements. The best things actually come from the unexpected. Next section are my trackers, and before you guys say anything, I spelled the word fitness wrong. I know that it only has 1 T. That really made me crack up when I found it on my final flip through. Up top, I have the evolution of a flower, which is appropriate for the purpose of this spread. My goal this month is to work out and walk 5 days a week, spend less, and sketch every day if possible. So I have my headers in an illustrated wood plank stake thing to follow the theme again, and then the dots help me determine where I'm going to fill in my info. Moving on to my page of milestones, So let's say something amazing happened to me, such as being featured on a blog post, which I was. I'd put it here randomly. This way I'm reminded of my accomplishments and the journey I am on. Otherwise I'd end up feeling like I didn't progress, which is not the case. I added 2 bunnies here, one making a wish up to the moon using my microns. I wanted a somewhat magical scene here because these milestones are pieces of my dream coming true. Tip number 6, you do not need to box everything in, and you also don't need to erase every pencil line. There's so much freedom with this bullet journal setup, and it's also so nice to see where the final spread came from. Progress is in the pencil lines. And finally, I have my weekly setup. I kept this one basic with something similar to my cover page to end along the same lines. For this setup, I made it really simple in a grid pattern. I put the days on the left where I can fill in my to-do list, and on the right, I want to set up a goal per day. This way I have a target that I'm shooting for to help keep me on track. It's a super simple and clean setup, and I just repeated that 5 times for the 5 weeks of September. My hands started cramping up towards the end, and the ruler ended up moving, so my lines aren't as perfect, which that's okay. But I am so happy that I ended so close to the center of the journal. This is perfect because I can use the same book from my October setup as well if I decide to do this again. Okay, so here's the final flip through. Overall, I love how each page blends into the next and are all connected in this journal. It was so much fun to create my first bullet journal and definitely a test on my calligraphy and handwriting skills. One last tip for beginners and anyone really who is into bullet journaling: be fearless in your creation. Try new layouts, make up new ideas, and just explore. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it helped inspire you. If you end up using any of these layouts, definitely tag me on Instagram. Subscribe, hit the little bell icon, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and want to see more DIYs, Inspiral chats, and more. Also follow me on Instagram for future giveaways and behind the scenes sneak peeks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!